Did you buy the Sultai Arisen Precon, but if you're honest with yourself, it was mostly about the reprint value?
I can't really blame you either. Voltron isn't my thing.
But Teval can actually be really fun if you cut these 20 cards.
And add these 20 cards.
And honestly, you don't even have to watch the rest of the video. Click the Moxfield link, all of the info's there.
And our Discord's below if you ever want to talk shop, we're always down, but let's talk Teval, let's go! Teval the Balanced Scale. This is an incredibly strong take on this type of effect.
The attack and ramp trigger is sick, but the real power here is whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you are making a 2/2 black zombie creature token.
It really says something to the power of a card when attack, mill 3, and ramp is not the best part of a card.
Our first 5 cuts are Cultivate, Harrow, Springbloom Druid, Steward of the Harvest, and Multani, Yavimaya's Avatar. When you have a 4-mana commander, there is no good time to be casting a 3-mana ramp spell. And then Steward of the Harvest needs the entire deck to be built around it, which we are not prepared to do.
Our next 5 are Consuming Aberration, Lord of Extinction, Omnixilus the Fallen, Lord of the Forsaken, and Necropolis Fiend. These are just big dummies when we're trying to go wide. We do not want these cards.
We have no real use for all this power.
And Omnixilus the Fallen is sneaky bad landfall.
We're also cutting Grapple with the Past, Crawling Sensation, Essence Anchor, Forbidden Alchemy, and Nyx Weaver. Each of these cards is designed to fill our graveyard, but we have a lot better options in our ads.
Finally, Reassembling Skeleton, Disciple Bolus, Jarad Golgari Lichlord, Casualties of War, and Tassiger the Golden Fang. These are all fine cards, but for what they do and in this deck, just overcosted, not something we want to see compared to what we're adding.
Before we show you the 20 sick new cards for Teval, we're going to help you adjust the land base. You got to cut Contaminated Aquifer, Darkwater Catacombs, Haunted Mire, Myriad Landscape, and Temple of Malady. Most of these are tap lands with no upside, and there's no good time you want to activate Myriad Landscape in this deck.
Now land adds, we're doing Riveteer's Overlook. I know we said about tap lands, but this automatically puts itself in its yard for Teval to bring out to put itself back in the yard again. It's just a positive feedback loop. And if you don't have a budget, obviously this can be any fetch land or Fabled Passage. Tangled Florahedron is a 2-mana ramp spell, which is exactly what we want with a 4 CMC commander. Roadside Reliquary and Ipnu Rivulet both sacrifice themselves, thus being able to be brought back out with Teval. And Ash Barrens is Ash Barrens. You know.
I know I always recommend it, but in this deck it actually puts itself in the graveyard and then comes back. It's even better. And now the reason you're all here, it's crazy how much power we can put into this deck for $14. Our first ads are Unified Will and Illicit Masquerade. Now that we're focused on building a big board, this precon came with no protection spells and we've got to fix that. Plus, Illicit Masquerade interacts with Teval in such a way that however many creatures you bring back, you get that many zombie druids.
With Illicit Masquerade in any other deck, you're only going -1 on a board wipe if you stack triggers appropriately. With Teval, you're actually going plus. Our next 2 ads are Cemetery Tampering and Chronic Flooding. Free hideaway spells, this is kind of obvious. Chronic Flooding is a great rate of mill on curve, but if you draw it later, you're milling 3 that turn.
And when you're milling in a green deck, you want Ramanop Excavator and Head Shredder. Both of these are going to dig lands out of your graveyard and generate hella zombies.
And speaking of hella zombie generation, it's your girl Sidisi Brood Tyrant. Look, this isn't exactly our most creative ad that we've ever had, but it is just so synergistic with Teval. You have to add it.
Our next 2 ads are Evolutionary Leap and Winter Night Stories. These are both going to keep our hand full of playable cards at very efficient rates.
Our next ad is Titan's Nest. This not only generates us mana, but this turns every single card in our graveyard into a 2/2 zombie. Not so bad.
And once you've decided the game needs to end, we've got Driven Despair, Lost Monarch of Ifnir, and Thunderfoot Baloth. All 3 of these cards exploit the fact that we're going to have way more creatures than anybody else.
And if the game's not ending and you just want to try to get ahead the next turn, Bloodspore Thrinax and Ravenous Rotbelly are excellent ways of exploiting our zombie army, either making them sack or setting us up for some huge beaters the next turn.
Our next ads are Puppeteer Click, Chthonian Nightmare, and Polluted Cistern, Dim Oubliette. These are the more conventional ways to pull things out of your graveyard. Creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. And Puppeteer Click has the added synergy of bringing itself back, which comes with the druid.
And Chthonian Nightmare basically has no cost because what it reanimates is going to come with the druid. It goes back in your hand, you sacrifice that new druid, and you just repeat for as long as you have 2 mana.
And Polluted Cistern is going to be chipping away way more damage than you're expecting.
Speaking of chipping damage away, Sir Conrad the Grim, the king himself at chip damage. Creature's going to be going to our graveyard, creature's going to be getting milled from our graveyard, creature's going to be pulling out from our graveyard. When you hit every note of Sir Conrad, you have to play him.
And last, we're adding Keru Goldkeeper.
I can't believe this card doesn't say once per turn.
Teval doesn't say once per turn, this doesn't say once per turn. The amount of stuff we're doing is ridiculous.
Ramping from just doing your commander's thing is actually absurd.
And throw in a sack outlet, maybe a grave crawler. This thing can go infinite with a lot of options. Did you buy the Sultai Arisen Precon, but actually just mostly for the Douthie Voidwalker and Life from the Loam reprints?
Can't blame you, because...
I don't know why I did that, yeah. Now talk!